Chief Godwin was one of the wealthiest men in Nigeria. He owned a massive empire, Godwin Group of companies, with branches spread across the nation. People admired him not only for his riches but for his deep wisdom and fairness. Yet, there was one thing Chief Godwin valued more than all his fortune: his only son, Derrick. Derrick had been studying medicine abroad for several years. He was smart, kind, and devastatingly handsome. Tall, with smooth brown skin, soft curly hair, and a smile that could disarm even the coldest heart. Every young woman in town wanted him, but Derrick wasn't interested in women chasing after wealth. He longed for something real, a love that didn't come with conditions. One sunny afternoon, Chief Godwin called his son. "My son, I am so proud of you," he said warmly. "You remember your promise. You said you would marry right after graduation." Derrick chuckled. "Don't worry, Dad. When I get home, I'll find the right woman." Chief Godwin paused, then added, "I already have my eyes on 2 women who work in my company. Both are educated, respectful, and hardworking. I think either of them would make a great wife." Derrick raised an eyebrow. "Dad, are you trying to arrange a wife for me?" No, Chief Godwin laughed. "Just guiding you. You'll still choose for yourself, but give them a chance." "Okay, I'll consider them, but I want to come home first." As he ended the call, a mischievous idea crossed Derrick's mind. "What if I go home and pretend to be a poor man? Maybe even a security guard. That way I'll know who truly loves me." He smiled to himself. "Yes, that's the plan. I want love that isn't bought by wealth." The next day, Chief Godwin sat in his leather chair and pressed the intercom. "Send Amara to my office." A few minutes later, Amara walked in. "Good morning, sir," she greeted with her usual gentle smile. "Good morning, Amara. Please sit." She sat, wondering what the meeting was about. Chief Godwin leaned forward. "My son, Derrick, is graduating soon and will return to Nigeria. I've been observing you. You're kind, respectful, and diligent. I think you could be a good wife to him. Just be yourself when he arrives." Amara blushed slightly and smiled. "Thank you, sir. I understand." Shortly after, Vanessa walked in with confidence, swaying her hips as she entered. "Good morning, sir," she said, voice sharp. "Morning, Vanessa. Sit down." He repeated the same conversation. Vanessa grinned proudly. "Thank you so much, sir. I promise to make you proud." But in her heart, she was already planning her reign as the next madam of the company. 2 weeks later, Derrick arrived in Nigeria. Chief Godwin received him with open arms at the airport. That night after dinner, they sat in the living room. "I've spoken to the 2 ladies," Chief Godwin said. "Amara and Vanessa. Both agreed to meet you." "Just like that?" Derrick asked. "Yes, they are excited." Derrick leaned back, rubbing his chin. "Dad, I want to go undercover. Work at the company gate as a security guard. I want to see who has a true heart." Chief Godwin stared at his son, then burst out laughing. "You're just like me in my youth. All right, but don't reveal yourself no matter what." The next morning, Derrick wore a faded blue uniform, rubber sandals, and a face cap. He looked like a common gateman. As employees arrived, no one noticed him, except Amara. "Good morning, Ogre Security," she said with a kind smile. "Good morning, madam," Derrick replied, touched by her warmth. "But Vanessa." She walked past him as though he were air. Days passed. Vanessa began behaving like royalty, clicking heels, expensive perfumes, acting like the boss's daughter-in-law already. One afternoon in the cafeteria, she declared to her friends, "Very soon, I'll be the boss's daughter-in-law. Some people better learn how to treat me with respect." She even warned Amara to stop pretending and told her, "Let's be honest, Amara. You're not in my class." Amara calmly replied, "We don't even know if he'll choose either of us. Let's stop fighting over a man who hasn't arrived." But Vanessa hissed, confident, "He will choose me. I'm everything a rich man wants." Meanwhile, Derrick continued observing quietly from the gate. Amara never missed greeting him. One hot afternoon, she even brought him cold water. "Here," she said, "you need this." "Thank you very much," Derrick smiled, touched. One Friday, Vanessa stormed into HR and made a dramatic announcement. "In case some of you don't know, I will soon be Chief Godwin's daughter-in-law. Once I marry his son, some people here will be sacked." The staff stared in disbelief. Amara calmly confronted her. "I don't know why you keep mentioning my name. I'm not in any competition with you." Vanessa laughed. "Keep pretending. I'll invite you to the wedding. Maybe you can be my bridesmaid if you behave." The next morning, Vanessa arrived in full glam. Derrick opened the gate and greeted politely. "Good morning, madam." She stopped and sneered. "Are you mad? Don't greet me again with your smelling mouth." Derrick blinked in shock. "What did I do?" "Shut up. You, this poor security boy. Don't ever speak to me." Derrick stayed calm. "You're too full of yourself. Just because the boss said his son might marry you doesn't mean you're the wife." Vanessa gasped. "You'll regret this. I'll make sure the boss sacks you." Derrick smiled faintly. "That's if his son even chooses you." Her rage exploded. "You useless thing. You're just like your foolish father and your wretched mother." That cut deep. Derrick's smile vanished. He stared at her quietly. "You've shown your true self." Then he walked away. Vanessa stormed into Chief Godwin's office. "Chief, you must sack that security man." "Why?" Chief Godwin asked calmly. "He insulted me, my future husband, and even said his father is foolish." "Wait, he said his father is foolish?" Chief Godwin raised an eyebrow. I mean his own father, not you, sir." "I'm sorry, Vanessa. I won't sack him." "Why?" she demanded. "Because I know him. And if he spoke to you that way, you must have provoked him." Vanessa's heart began to race. Something was off. Why would Chief Godwin defend a poor security man like that? A week passed. Vanessa avoided the gate, still fuming over the humiliation she faced from the security boy. Meanwhile, Amara continued her usual routine. Polite greetings, a kind word here and there. One afternoon, she even brought Derrick a small plate of jollof rice wrapped in foil. "You're always here under the sun. Please eat something," she said with a smile. Derrick looked up, deeply moved. "You're too kind." "Kindness is free," she replied gently. Later that evening, Chief Godwin called both Vanessa and Amara separately, inviting them to a special family dinner at his mansion on Sunday. When Vanessa got the call, she screamed with excitement. "He has finally chosen me," she said, twirling in her room. She ran to the boutique the next day and bought an expensive designer gown. "Let Amara come with her barmaid dress. I'll show her levels." Amara, on the other hand, wore a simple yet elegant native gown her mother had sewn for her before she died. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just grateful for the invitation. The grand mansion sparkled under the sunset. Staff lined the compound, ushering in guests. Vanessa arrived first in a red convertible, stepping out like a celebrity, phone in hand, snapping selfies. "Get my angle well," she told the security. "Make sure my shoes show." A few minutes later, Amara arrived in a quiet tricycle, clutching her handbag nervously. She stepped out and greeted everyone warmly. Inside the dining room, Chief Godwin waited at the head of the table. Derrick sat beside him, this time dressed in a crisp senator wear, looking nothing like the security boy. When Vanessa entered, her mouth dropped. She recognized Derrick instantly, but her mind couldn't comprehend it. "No, it can't be. That's the same face." Chief Godwin stood. "Welcome, ladies. Please have your seats." They both sat, Amara still unaware of what was going on. Then, Chief Godwin smiled and announced, "My son has something to share with you both." Derrick stood slowly, facing Vanessa first. "Vanessa, do you remember me?" She blinked rapidly, hands trembling. I. I was the security man you insulted last week. The entire room fell silent. Vanessa's eyes widened in horror. Amara gasped, turning to Derrick in disbelief. You mean, you? Derrick nodded and continued. Yes. I wanted to see who truly had a good heart, without knowing I was the boss's son. One of you treated me like a dog. The other treated me like a human being. He turned to Amara and smiled warmly. Amara, you gave me water when I was thirsty. You gave me food when I was hungry. You spoke to me with respect when I had nothing. He knelt and held her hand. You are the kind of woman I've prayed for. Will you marry me? Tears rushed to Amara's eyes. She covered her mouth in shock. Yes, yes, Derrick. I will. The room erupted in applause. Vanessa jumped up. No, you can't do this. I was the one Chief Godwin chose. Chief Godwin stood, face stern. I only guided him. He made the choice. And clearly, he chose wisely. Vanessa fell to her knees. Please, I didn't know. Derrick interrupted. That's the point. You didn't know. And yet, you showed your true self. I don't want a wife who only respects me when I wear gold. Weeks later, preparations for the wedding began. Derrick and Amara grew closer, their love blossoming like wildflowers. Vanessa? She was quietly transferred to another branch of the company, in a rural village, without fanfare, without status. She would forever remember the day she lost everything because of pride. And so, true love found its way, not through designer gowns or expensive perfume, but through humility, kindness, and respect. The weeks flew by, and the mansion buzzed with excitement. Preparations for Derrick and Amara's traditional wedding were in full swing. Invitations were out. Tailors, decorators, and caterers filled the compound. Chief Godwin couldn't be more proud. But trouble was lurking in the shadows. Vanessa wasn't done. Vanessa sat in her small office at the village branch of Godwin Group of Companies. Humiliated, bitter, angry. Her glittering life had crumbled overnight. So, Amara won. But let's see if she can hold on to him, she muttered. She opened her phone, scrolled through Amara's Facebook page, and smirked. You left something behind, Amara, and I just found it. Attached to an old post was a blurry photo of Amara, with a baby boy, and a man in a police uniform beside her. Vanessa zoomed in. Who is this child? And who's that man? Him. Time to dig deep. Amara was sitting at the tailor's shop, picking her bridal outfit when her phone buzzed. It was a WhatsApp message, from an unknown number. She opened it. Camera, photo attached. Does Derrick know about this child? Her heart skipped a beat. She looked at the photo. It was her, from 5 years ago, holding her son. Her hands began to shake. Oh no. How did this picture come out? I deleted everything. She rushed outside, her eyes filled with panic. 5 years ago, Amara had fallen in love with a police officer named Sergeant Tunde. He was kind at first, but soon became controlling and violent. When she got pregnant, he denied the child and kicked her out. With nowhere to go, she moved to a distant village where she gave birth and left the child in the care of her aging aunt to start a new life in Lagos. She hadn't seen her son in almost 4 years, but she sent money every month. She had planned to tell Derrick after the wedding, but now, everything was about to blow up. 2 nights before the wedding, Amara arrived at Derrick's house, her face pale. We need to talk, she said. Derrick sat beside her. What's wrong? She couldn't meet his eyes. There's something I haven't told you. I have a son. He's 5 years old. Derrick froze. You what? Please let me explain, she pleaded. It was before I met you. His father was abusive. I ran away. I never hid it out of shame. I was only afraid you wouldn't want me anymore. Derrick stood, walked to the window, and stared out in silence. The air between them was heavy. Amara sobbed quietly. After a long pause, Derrick turned. Where is your son now? In the village. With my aunt. He walked over, lifted her chin, and wiped her tears. Amara, I'm hurt you didn't tell me earlier. But I've seen your heart. That boy is part of you, so he's part of me too. Her eyes widened. You mean? Let's go get him. He'll be the little ring bearer at our wedding. Amara broke down in tears, hugging him tightly. Meanwhile, Vanessa was already on her way to Chief Godwin's mansion. She had printed the photo and wrote a full letter of exposure against Amara. By the time I drop this letter, that wedding will scatter like a broken mirror. But when she arrived, she was met at the gate by Chief Godwin's chief of staff. Madam Vanessa, the chief said you should return this, he said, handing her a sealed envelope. She opened it. It read, Vanessa, we are aware of your actions. The wedding will proceed. Do not return here again. Chief Godwin. She crushed the paper in rage. You'll all regret this. The wedding day arrived. Guests filled the town. Music, drums, and dancing lit up the air. Amara stepped out in her glittering gold and wine attire, hand in hand with her son, now proudly wearing his tiny agbada. Chief Godwin carried the boy and placed him on his lap, laughing. This one looks just like me. Maybe he'll be our next chief. Derrick stood proudly, watching his bride walk toward him. You've been tested, and you passed with love, he whispered as they embraced. In her small room, far away, Vanessa sat quietly, watching the wedding live on Instagram. Her face blank. Her pride gone. They didn't just win. I lost myself trying to win wrongly. And with that, she put down her phone, switched off the light, and sat in the dark. Please don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories.